Back again with another video. Today I wanted to talk to you about investing in your child's future. So get ready for some free game. We're about to get it. So one of the best ways you can actually help to secure your child's future is to start a UTMA account for your child. What is a UTMA account? I don't know. Let's ask Google. Google, what is a UTMA account? Oh snap, we got an answer from Google. All right, so it says here UTMA and UTMA accounts are considered the granddaddy of college saving accounts. The UTMA, Uniform Gift to Minors Act, and the UTMA, Uniform Transfer to Minors Act, are nothing more than custodial accounts which are used to hold and protect assets for minors until they reach the age of majority in their state. All right, so in my search to try and find ways that I could do an investment for my son, I found several options. I decided to actually look at two. The first one was by Stash, and the second option is by Fidelity. I actually signed up for both services, but Fidelity's app, it's whack. I couldn't add a bank account. When I called customer service, they pretty much told me that I had to add a bank account from a mobile browser or a web browser from my laptop. I tried that and it was not working. So I decided to settle on Stash. Now, just so you know, Stash does have some fees. I think the regular Stash account, it's $1 per month. If you upgrade to the account that allows you to have a custodial account, you're going to be paying $9 a month. And for $9, you can add up to 2 kids to your Stash account. So because Stash was easier to use, I decided to settle on Stash to open my custodial account for my son. And I started investing in that account right away. There are a couple of things that you want to know about custodial accounts before you decide to jump in. One of the first things you should know is that the maximum deposit you can make within a year is $15,000 without incurring what is called a gift tax. The funds that are transferred to the child will automatically become available to the child at age 18 to 21, depending on the state that you're in. To set up the custodial account, it requires the child name and it also requires the child's social security number. You don't have to be the actual parent of the child. So you could be a godfather, a godmother, grandmother, grandfather of the child. You can put, like I said before, up to $15,000 per year without incurring a gift tax. For married couples, it can be up to $30,000 per year without incurring the gift tax. I'm not a tax attorney or a tax person, so please consult with your tax person. Contributions are not tax deferred. The first $1,050 of capital gains will not be taxed. After that, it is taxed at the child's rate, which is 10 to 15%, depending on what state you're in. After $2,100, it is taxed at an adult rate. Another thing you should know about UTMAs is that having a UTMA account can affect your child's ability to get financial aid and can actually reduce the amount that the child receives from financial aid. A similar account to this, which is more geared towards college education, is a 529 account. But any withdrawals from that account must be used for educational purposes only. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys real quickly my son's custodial account. Currently, as far as cash to invest, he has $25, and he has here 5 different investments. All right, so for those of you who are not familiar with Stash is pretty much like kind of like an introductory platform for people who are new to investing. And what Stash typically does, it offers individual stocks too, but it primarily offers ETFs. And an ETF is just a bundle of stocks, usually together within the same segment. And it makes it easier for you to just put money in that segment and forget about it and just, let it grow, because chances are most ETFs have, I would say, anywhere from 5 or more companies onwards. And even if 1 or 2 companies in that particular segment is not doing well, the rest of the companies inside the ETF will pick up the slack. So one of the first ETFs that I have here is called a long-term mix. And this was something that was recommended by Stash. I invested $25, and so far my return is 1.12% or 28 cents on top of my $25. Let's go ahead and click on that and take a look at it. And it says here, gives you some more details here in the summary. It says the current value of this investment is $25.28. The number of shares I own is 0.44 cents. And that's another thing with Stash. Stash allows you to own fractional shares of an ETF or an actual stock. The amount I have invested is $25, and my return so far is 28 cents or 1.12%. The percentage of my portfolio, or my son's portfolio, I should say, this holding represents is 18%, and the average price for this ETF is $55.89. If we go to the overview, it gives you some basic information here, and it pretty much just says that it's aggressively investing into short-term and long-term companies. If we look at the risk level, it says very aggressive. And if you look at the top holdings inside this ETF, it gives you the breakdown of each company and the actual percentage here. If you look at the performance of this, it shows here a growth chart, and pretty much it looks like a hill, which means that's a good thing. All right, so let's hit back, and I'll go ahead and click on one of the ETFs that I selected myself, which was Defending America. So I have $25 invested in this. It represents 18% of my portfolio, and so far I'm up 0.92% or 23 cents on my $25. And if we click on this, it gives you the same overview as before. However, the average price for this particular stock or this particular ETF is $221.16. So it's way more expensive than the other one. And if we go to the overview and look at the different holdings inside this, we'll see that they're actual companies. So the risk level on this is moderate. And some of the top companies that are inside this ETF, we have Boeing, we have United Technologies, we have Lockheed Martin, we have Raytheon, and it goes on and on and on. So pretty much this segment is pretty much holding stocks that are inside the aerospace segment. So it says, boasting the world's strongest military and biggest defense budget, America spends billions to safeguard our skies. These aerospace and defense manufacturers armor troops with the latest aircraft and equipment. So pretty much that's what you're investing in when you get this particular ETF. All right, and it goes on and on. Then I have long haul bonds. I put $25 in. It's up 14 cents or 0.57%. We have another ETF here, which is Real Estate Tycoons. There was $25 invested in this, and I am negative 0.51%. Also, we have another ETF, the fifth and final one, which is high voltage. And $15 was invested in this, and I am negative 1.41%. So why would you want to do an investment account for your child versus, say, a savings account? Well, with an investing account, you actually get more. It has a higher rate of return. Let's look at savings account. This is a 2019 list of the highest interest online saving accounts available. Currently, Barclays leads the list with 1.990%. Then in second place, we have Citizens Access with 1.85%. And then we have Banks Connect with 1.85%. And then we have iGo Banking with 1.80%. Another downside to saving accounts is when the Fed cuts the rate, which happened recently, the interest that you earn on your money in a savings account actually goes down as well. For those of you who own Robinhood, you will know that recently Robinhood announced that they're going to have a cash balance account, which pretty much holds funds that you transfer to Robinhood until you decide to purchase any stock. Now, while the funds are sitting in that account, they first initially said, hey, we're going to give you 2.05% interest on that money, which is great. And then last week when the Fed announced, hey, we're cutting rates, this is the email that I got from Robinhood. We're writing to let you know that effective today, the cash management interest rate has been adjusted to 1.80% from 2.05%. There you go. And this is why you should invest into stocks for your young one, because for the simple reason that you're going to get more bang for your buck. So according to historical records, the average annual return since its inception in 1926 through to 2018 is approximately 10%. The average annual return since adopting 500 stocks into the index in 1957 through 2018 is roughly 8%. Even at 8%, it's way better than what the highest paying or highest yielding saving account is offering. So that's really a no-brainer. So what I want to do now is just go ahead and punch some numbers into the calculator to see what this will look like for your kid if you invest just $50 a week until they are 21. And for this example, we're going to use a newborn. All right, so we have the compound interest calculator pulled up on the screen so we can punch these numbers and see if we're going to make your kid rich when he hits 21, man. So let's check it out. All right, so for those of you who do not know what compound interest is, compound interest is pretty much, let's say you have $10 in the bank and the bank gives you 1% interest on that $10 per year. If you have $10 in the bank, at the end of the year, the bank is going to give you 10 cents on top of that $10. What happens is when the interest compounds, the next year, the bank will pay you interest on $10.10. And so it creates a snowball effect. All right, so let's go ahead and just punch some numbers into the calculator. So brand new baby, just born, 2019. We're going to start the current principal at $50. So let's go ahead and punch $50 here. So we have $50. All right. So we plan to invest $50 every week. And there are 52 weeks in a year. So let's pull up our calculator and we're going to put that in. So we have $50 times 52 weeks. We're at $2,600 invested for the year. So let's go back to the compound interest calculator, and it says annual addition. So now we're going to type in $2,600. The years to grow, because the baby has just been born, is 21. So we're going to use 21 because that's the age that the kid will have access to the custodial account here in New York. So 21 years to grow, and the average interest for the stock market is roughly 10%. We're going to go lower. We're going to go for 9%. And we're going to compound this 1 times annually. So let's go ahead and hit calculate. All right. So there you go. So when the kid hits 21 years old, he is looking at roughly $161,176.12. Now, remember, the average return on the market is 10%, but you'll have some years where it will be higher, some years where it will be lower. But that's on the average return of 10%, and we did this at 9%. Now, 161,000 is not, it's not millions. Obviously, it can be more if you invest more, but I decided to use a moderate amount of $50. That's what I'm investing for my son. But let's say your situation changes or your income increases, you could easily increase this to $100 a week, but you get the idea. And this is money that your kid can use for college, but it's not limited like a 529 account where they can only use it for educational purposes. They could use it for anything. They could use it to start a business. They could use it to buy a house. They could use it to go buy a new Lambo and while out, whatever they want to do. The only thing I would suggest to you at this point, once you start investing for your child at a young age, once they become of age and they can read or write, then use that as the opportunity to actually teach them about being, financially sound, about good financial practices, show them exactly what you're doing, have them pick some of the stocks with you as well, and get them into that zone. So by the time they are of age, 18, 21, whatever it is, and they're going to have access to this money, they will at least have some good sound knowledge so they can make smart decisions, and not while out, buy a Lambo and blow the money. Make sense? So another thing I wanted to show you guys was that Stash has the ETFs in different segments. So this segment that I'm on is called Beliefs, and it has AI top stocks, which is artificial intelligence, which is actually pretty big right now. Then it has big business bonds. It has bonding with America. It has junk bonds. It also has another section here called balance, and it has different ETFs under this. Then it has life, and then it also has individual stocks. Now, they have a limited amount of companies. They don't have a slew of companies like Robinhood does, but it does have a decent amount of, I would say, some of the most popular companies, some of the best companies right now, and some of the companies that actually have the highest growth rate in terms of capital, or they pay the highest dividends. So we have 3M here, decent growth, but pays a very good dividend. They have Abbott Laboratories. We have AbbVie, which everyone knows. That one pays a really nice dividend. We have Activision Blizzard, which is the video game company that makes Call of Duty. They have Adobe, which makes Photoshop, Advanced Auto Parts, and it goes on and on and on. Alibaba, Alphabet, which is Google. It has Altria, which is cigarettes. Amazon, AMC, AMD, and it goes on and on and on. So not only can you buy ETFs, but you can also buy individual stocks as well. All right, so that's it for my video on the custodial stash account. I hope you found the information presented here useful. If you did, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, smash that like button. Also, if you're into investing and e-commerce, I make new videos every week, so please go ahead and subscribe. Thanks again so much for watching the video, guys. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a blessed day.